but I had to just pull the clutch in the third gear, and then I lost 6th and 7th gear as well.
Big disappointment for you, but things are looking a bit brighter for Jacques.
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, he was able to get a good start. I had a problem with my launch control, which again is very, very disappointing. But no, he's in 7th and very, very good. We need to have some points here. We need to stay in front of the Toyotas and Jaguars, and this is doing a good job.
Thanks, gents.
Gap now up to 1.3 seconds. This is an absolute head-to-head. Barrichello slipped back. There he is. He's now 6 seconds behind the leading duo. Raikkonen holding at about 13 seconds behind Michael Schumacher. So Raikkonen can't, I don't think, win the race. He's just got to minimise the damage this afternoon. Coulthard still in a solid 5th. We think Barrichello's pitting at the end of this lap, so we're in then for what will be the second scheduled and final stops of the afternoon. For this Grand Prix is just disappearing, isn't it? It's incredible. We're on lap 31 already.
Well, they were talking about this possibly being the fastest Grand Prix of all time. That record held for a Grand Prix back here in 1971. Peter Gethin, the winner there. And we will see if the average speed this afternoon beats it. The way they're going at the front, you'd have to suspect it's going to fall. Michael Schumacher, though, has managed to claw back a little bit of ground on Montoya. You can see 1.2 seconds the margin now. A bit more comfort for Schumacher as Barrichello pits from 3rd place.
Well, he really did attack that speed line. It looks like he just about got it slowed down enough. I think Barrichello can get in there and really help Michael now. Too much of a deficit on the pit stop, but he's got to keep push, because if there's a sticky wheel on the Williams, or the fuel nozzle's not quite right, or something like that, suddenly Barrichello can be in there inflicting some major damage on this man Montoya. The gap down to 1.2 seconds. We think Genet is now pitting in the sister Williams from what is 6th place, 29 seconds adrift.
Well, we haven't seen too much of Marc Genet so far this afternoon, replacing Ralf Schumacher, who's gone back to Salzburg complaining of a headache after the first qualifying session. Genet stepping in, did a terrific job to get 5th on the grid as Olivier Panis comes into the pits. He's in the last of the points-paying positions at the moment in 8th place. He's fairly comfortable there. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is his nearest challenger, and he was 10 seconds behind Panis before this round of pit stops. So Panis looking good to score points again for Toyota here this afternoon, as into the pits comes the Williams.
And it's Montoya that's pitted. Montoya pits then. So from what was 2nd place, here we go. This is a crucial stop. World Championships are going to be hanging on these pit stops this year now. He's ready to go, but the fuel isn't yet. Solid stop, not spectacular. Panis also pitted in the Toyota at that time. So now, when will Michael Schumacher stop? They must have short-filled Montoya slightly then on that first round of stops.
Well, we heard Jeff Willis when we were speaking to him a while ago saying he reckoned that Schumacher had 2 laps more fuel, as we look at Coulthard making his stop. So these next 2 laps, absolutely critical for Michael Schumacher. This is where he needs to build the margin for victory. He was under a lot of pressure. He had Montoya breathing down his neck throughout the middle stint of this race, and he wants to make things a little bit more comfortable for himself. This is where he's got to do it, but unfortunately for him, he's got a bit of traffic to negotiate. Should pass that Sauber down the back straight before the Parabolica corner, although he is quite a long way back going onto the straight. We will see. But Heidfeld getting the message that he's got the race leader behind him, and he is not in a mood to be hanging around.
Well, Ferrari team will hope that the team they supply engines to don't hinder their man. Heidfeld, fellow countryman of Michael Schumacher, literally getting out of the way, but giving Michael a tremendous tow down the pit straight. And it's a 1:22.1 for Michael. A lot of blue smoke down there at the first chicane. Somebody's obviously recently locked up. But a solid lap from Michael, a good lap, but he probably wished he could have been 3 or 4 tenths quicker there. And this is, as you said, James, his chance to start pumping them in.
Well, it certainly has gone quickly, this Grand Prix. I'm sure for Michael Schumacher, it can't. The checkered flag cannot come quickly enough. He really does want the 10 points and the enormous sense of relief which would accompany it after such a difficult summer for him and the Ferrari team, having been on top in the World Championship since the Canadian Grand Prix, to see everybody else closing up so much. With Montoya just a point behind and Raikkonen 2 points behind. That's not the kind of zone that he wants to be in. He wants to put some breathing space, quite literally, between himself and his pursuers. And 2 points today, if he can come first with Montoya second. That would do the business for Michael. A little bit more space for him. And Ferrari getting ready in the pit lane.
So that's Genet ahead of Montoya. Montoya stopped for the second time, of course. There's the reason for that. And of course now Montoya's got the fuel load. He'll be about a second and a quarter down. So how much longer has he got to run with his heavy fuel load before Michael comes in and takes on a similar fuel load? And there is the answer. Schumacher in the pits now. Did he get held up in any way behind that Minardi? Because the gap was 1.2 seconds before this all started for the second scheduled stops of the afternoon. Oh, it seems like an eternity when you're sitting there, but Michael's so calm, not revving, not pushing to get away, and Raikkonen pits from second place. Ted.
Well, here we go. Kimi Raikkonen was about 2 seconds ahead of Rubens Barrichello when Rubens pitted. Is he going to jump him on this one? It's going to be touch and go. Fuel going in. Kimi's on the limiter. Let's see what's happened. Oh, 9.5. Where's Montoya and Michael, though?
Well, Montoya's side by side with Michael on the road to the first corner, and he's got him. Juan Montoya has got ahead of Michael Schumacher through the second round of pit stops. Absolutely incredible for the BMW Williams driver, and the TV only picked it up right at the last minute. We thought he perhaps had a margin to do it, and he's done it. He's got ahead.
I think Michael got held up down there on the way in behind the Minardi, and noticed there was a Minardi trundling out behind him in the pits as well. Did he get held up? No criticism of Minardi there. They're entitled to do exactly what they need to do for their pit stop, but clearly with traffic, not a spectacular in-lap. Montoya hasn't had brilliant laps, so Michael lost some time somewhere, no doubt about it, James. Now he is steering at the rear wing of the Williams. And we're making sure we're looking at the right Williams, yeah, because it's the wrong... We got the right Williams there, because Genet is in the action too.
No, I think you might be right. I think it might be Genet, in fact, that's in front of him. Let's just check this. The computer has not told us here at Monza which is which. Very difficult to tell the two helmets apart. There is Genet, there is Michael Schumacher, there is Montoya. Beg your pardon, all those of you watching back at home. It was a very late call, as I say on the TV. The picture switching across, and Michael Schumacher is still in front of Juan Montoya.
Okay, well that explains then he didn't lose any time much, because he needed to have lost about 1.3 seconds plus 2 extra laps where Montoya was carrying the heavier fuel load. So it was Genet that was down there into the first corner, slightly out of schedule on his stops, and therefore Michael Schumacher still leads the Grand Prix by 1.6 seconds.
Yesterday morning when they went out for the pre-practice, I was looking at the two helmets and thinking they're very similar. I hope it doesn't catch us out tomorrow. And there you are. They are very, very similar indeed. Anyway, Michael Schumacher leading by 1.6 seconds then from Juan Montoya. Genet has made his pit stop. He was in third place. Barrichello fourth. Raikkonen fifth. Coulthard sixth. Heinz-Harald Frentzen has made a stop as well. He is dropping down the order now. Villeneuve will be coming back up to attain his 7th place again, with Panis in 8th. So all as you were very much here at Monza after the second round of stops.
Heidfeld was in P7 when he came in.
Well, Jeff Willis is joining us, the BAR technical director. Thanks for joining us again, Jeff. How's it looking?
Oh, it's looking quite good at the moment for Jacques. We got the stop just right. We were about 2 seconds quicker on our stop, and we did the right strategy, stopping later. Very disappointing with Jensen. We'll look into what the problem is, but it's pretty frustrating. We think both cars were good here.
Well, 2 points today for you would be a real boost in the Constructors' Championship, wouldn't it?
It's very important that we score more points than either Jaguar or Toyota. It's very important to us.
It looks like Toyota have hit some problems there, Jeff, just as you were talking. I don't know if you saw the picture, but Olivier Panis there looks like he's coasting, and 8th place going out the window for him.
I saw him slow. Yes, I'm not quite sure. It hasn't come back to him.
Thank you, Jeff. We got a straight fight on our hands now, because Montoya then once again beginning to close Michael Schumacher down, just clipping a 10th or 2 here and there. Barrichello out of the picture, 13 seconds adrift. Raikkonen is just a second behind Rubens Barrichello, so worked out well in the stops there. Raikkonen needs to get ahead of Barrichello. Barrichello, instead of sort of trying to get some points off Montoya. He's going to have to work hard now to keep points away from Raikkonen. So there's a good squabble going on for third and fourth places. Let's have a look at this lap. At the moment, Montoya, it was even Stevens, just a fractions in it. Still the gap is 1.3 then. How is he going to catch him? We think he might be able to pass him under braking. Michael's got the faster car in a straight line, but with a good tow and the BMW engine behind him. If Montoya can get in to the draft, into the zone behind Michael's car where he's punching a hole in the air, surely he'll have a chance under braking. It's going to be very close to the end of this Grand Prix. There is the battle for third and fourth between Barrichello and Kimi Raikkonen. Raikkonen needs those points.
You can see the Minardi in front. Traffic always a big factor here. He moves smartly out of the way to let them through. To the second chicane then goes Barrichello with Raikkonen right behind him, and the points absolutely critical all the way through the field. Raikkonen a championship contender, don't forget, and a big job here then for Rubens Barrichello to help Michael Schumacher by keeping him behind him.
Because he is a lot further down the order. There he is behind Barrichello, and that at the moment is protecting Michael, giving him what would be a 7-point championship lead. 10 plays 5 in the race and another 2 that he's got already.
There's been a couple of spikes.
Right now, Michael Schumacher has a 3-point lead in the championship, but on track, it is the barest of threads as Montoya reels him in again. Big disadvantage, though, for Kimi Raikkonen, because he is a lot further down the order. There he is behind Barrichello, and that at the moment is protecting Michael, giving him what would be a 7-point championship lead. 10 plays 5 in the race and another 2 that he's got already.
There's been a couple of spikes in Rubens' lap times to the negative. They've actually been quite slow, and we wondered in here whether in fact he did have a problem, but he's restored his pace again to the mid-23s. We actually went through a sequence not so long back, Bill, where there were 5 or 6 cars all recording within the 10th of a second about a 22.5, which was extraordinary. So many cars to be so close. Incidentally, Webber is still frantically working at the back of Frentzen. He's 9th at the moment, Frentzen 8th, so on the verge of a point. Some suggestion that he might have actually had a lunge at him about 15 or 20 minutes ago, and then he lost some ground on him, but he's back now to within a couple of seconds and closing.
Ryan, what's it like? You work to get those tenths of a second. You get on the back of somebody like a Michael Schumacher, and then you have to get around him. That's the next thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, with these long straights, normally passing is a possibility, but it's never easy, you know. But you just got to work at it, put pressure on the guy in front of you, and try to make him make a mistake.
Well, they've got traffic to contend with as well. There's Mark Webber just out of the points, as Neil pointed out. 15 cars running, although Olivier Panis had a lot of trouble there on the Toyota. We'll return to our commentary. Martin Brundle and James Allen.
Lap 40 of the 53-lap Italian Grand Prix. We're into traffic here for the race leaders, Michael Schumacher and Juan Montoya. You've missed nothing, but Michael Schumacher just lapped Heinz-Harald Frentzen, and Frentzen got in the way of Montoya into the second chicane. It was one of those unfortunate bits of timing. It wasn't really Frenzen's fault, but he just came across him at the wrong moment, and it's taken Montoya far longer to get past Frentzen than he would have liked. He was 1.2 seconds behind the race leader at the beginning of this lap, and that, you can see, has really cost him.
Yeah, he lost over a second in the middle sector alone, so really that might be a bit of a pivotal lap this afternoon. With not passing Michael in the early stages there on the down at the second chicane. A great epic duel we saw in the first lap of this Grand Prix, certainly the first part of it. But now the gap is 2.3 seconds there. That really did hurt Montoya, and he's now got to charge all over again. And we know he can only edge back a tenth or two at a time, and he ran in a bit deep. Bit of frustration creeping in there now from Montoya. He knows that cost him dearly.
Schumacher leads Montoya, then 2.3 seconds the margin. He's added just over a second on that lap. Barrichello third. He's 15 seconds behind the race leader, with Raikkonen right behind him. There you can see them. That's the battle for third and fourth places, the final slot on the podium. Barrichello, last year's winner here at Monza, looking to get up onto the podium again. And, well, he's certainly going about it the right way at the moment. Coulthard is fifth, and Marc Gené, who